Hey guys, what's up? This is Strider Chip. I'm back with another one, as you guys can see. Today, guys, I'm doing a movie anime review of Wicked City. I was watching this movie last Sunday. This Sunday, I was watching it, and you know what I'm saying. After watching it, I was clearly seeing the potential of what this movie has. And honestly, to be honest with you, I want to get more. I want to see more out of what I was seeing with the movie. You know what I mean? A lot of this movie had a lot of sex scenes. It had a lot of hentai references in it. A lot of fetishes within Japanese culture, Japanese reference. If you, I don't know if you guys. I'm not trying to be funny or nothing out there, but a lot of times if you guys seen Japanese porn, you see a lot of Japanese references of sex in it. You know what I'm saying? Where they like to tentacle sex and gang raped and shit like that. And it's just it's funny like throughout this movie, you would see that you would feel like, okay, they focus more on that. That's the hook of the movie to get you more into the sex. They want you to view more about the sex than the actual story. Because the story in the movie is like, it's almost as if the story doesn't take place at all. It's like they want you to pay less attention to that, but they want you to focus a little bit more on the animations of the sex scenes and the things they're doing with that. That's I don't know what's really going on over there in the Japanese culture per se. I don't know exactly what's happening there, but you clearly you see what the Japanese are thinking about when they how they view sex. Sometimes they're really, in my opinion, they're very horny people in Japan. You know what I'm saying? And they have some weird fetishes for things. In my opinion, I don't see what led them to think that having sex with a monster was a good thing. But anyway, to go past that, let's get a little bit more on topic of what this movie was about. Now, the overview. I'm going into the overview. The overview of this movie was basically two worlds. Two worlds. That coexist within the same society, and human beings didn't know about a demon world that existed within the human world. These two, the human world and the black world, as they call it, pretty much, they coexist within the same society, and they were just people who were basically demons that lived in the human society, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much the black world and the human world were basically living together, basically in peace through a peace treaty. You know what I mean? And they have these agents within this world called the Black Guards, and they were basically protectors of the barrier lines of the black world and the human world. You know what I mean? And a lot of, as you guys know, there were crimes pretty much among the black world and the human world, whereas some people from the black world will murder humans and stuff and so forth, and it goes back and forth. But the treaty was about keeping the peace among each other, and they had to sign the treaty each 100 years. So in the movie, they are towards the end of the 20th century, and they're about to sign a new treaty, but they don't want this. There's an organization basically within the black world that's called the Radicals that don't want that to happen. They don't want that treaty to happen, and basically they're not really explaining more of their motives other than the fact they just don't want that to happen or anything like that. Now, the true story of this movie is about bringing peace between two worlds, and it's an organization that don't want that shit to happen. But the plot is basically bringing together two people from two different worlds to have the world view them in a whole totally different light, and they did not want that to happen. The radicals in the movie, the people from the black world, did not want that to happen. They didn't want the evolution to happen between a human species and a black world demon, species. Basically, they didn't want that to happen. So the main characters in this whole series is basically Taki, Minarch, and Maki, basically. And they're all people within the organization, that radical group, basically the Spider Woman, Mr. Shadow, who's the leader, and Jin is basically the lone lover of Maki in the movie. Now Taki in this movie is you find out that he's a very skilled fighter. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying he's a electronic salesman too. Also, basically, uh, he's an electronic salesman by day, and he's a blackguard agent by night. You know what I'm saying? By night. Um, you know that, like I said, you learn that he's a skilled fighter and he's strong too within this movie. He's a really strong guy for a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like in the movie, you see that he's fighting against these demons and he's punching holes in their body. He's like punching their faces off. Like it's crazy how he was able to do this. Like in the movie, I kind of questioned the fact that did he have any abilities? Did he have any powers? But they're not really explaining that in the movie. You would think that these demons are soft and they're weak, but they're not. They're not. These demons, you know what I'm saying, they were able to punch a hole through walls. They were able to use their powers like they were nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? They could punch a hole through a wall and not feel anything about it. They could punch a hole through a gate. Just picture yourself punching a hole through a gate and how it would feel. They punched a hole through a gate like it was nothing, like it was like they were cutting through it, like it was scissors. You know what I mean? It was crazy how he was fighting these guys. He was fighting them right by a gate. And you know what I'm saying? This dude punched the hole right through the gate, but he jumped out the way. It's like Taki was a really skilled fighter. He was crazy at it. You know what I'm saying? He was a skilled fighter. He was punching holes through them. Then they were like transforming at the same time. Like I said, Taki was a really cool character. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like this character, and some of his characteristics actually reminds a little bit of me a little bit. He's really calm in the movie. He's really laid back, you know what I'm saying? He's curious, you know what I'm saying? And he lacks guidance, too. He lacks a little bit of guidance, you know what I mean? He doesn't know why he's taking on the job he's doing. He doesn't know why he's doing it, you know what I'm saying? And he feels as if, like, the worlds he's fighting for, both the human world and the demon world, whatever, he feels like none of these worlds should have even a chance of existing. He doesn't understand his purpose of living, you know what I mean? He doesn't understand why he's single and why he's this and that. But in the movie, hint, like I said, he's the main character, and this female that his partner, Maki, are the two main characters of this movie. They're the two main plots of the movie. And throughout the movie, the shadow leader is trying to keep these two from bonding together and having sex and having a child. You know what I mean? It's crazy. They don't want the world to see the first half human boy and half demon baby. You know what I'm saying? They don't want the world to see that. But the organization that Taki's working for, they want him and Maki to be together. In my opinion, I think that they want them to be together. They're not explaining that within the movie. They're not telling you. It's funny that they're not explaining who Taki's working for. They're not really saying that at all. The only thing you pretty much know that he's working for organization or that pretty much is that, clarify him as a blackguard. That's it. That's all it is to it. There's nothing more. You know what I'm saying? They're not explaining enough about that organization other than the fact that, okay, you're a blackguard. That's it. You know what I mean? And they're trying to keep they're pretty much the organization that Taki's working for. As I said, they want to keep these two together. They want to make Taki and they want Maki to work together and actually have a child and a son or daughter together. You know what I'm saying? That's what they wanted. Now, in the beginning of the movie, it's funny. They have a sex scene in the movie where Taki's having sex with a woman from the black world. Now, in the movie, they explain that, having sex with a person from the black world, from the human world, was crazy, just extremely crazy sex. It was just sex beyond sex at that. You know what I mean? It was just sex beyond sex. It was like a wonderful thing to bond together with someone of different species. And it's funny that, Taki he sleeps with the Spider Woman. The Spider Woman, basically, her character is very manipulative. You know what I mean? She pretty much manipulates Taki into having sex with Taki. You would classify her as a hoe and a slut. in the movie, basically from a black world. You know what I mean? But obviously, it clearly shows that the Spider Woman's character, she was curious about having sex with a human. You know what I mean? And she wanted to find out for herself from the beginning of the movie. So she has sex with Taki. She does it with Taki. She wanted to know what it was like. Like in the movie, they have sex. You know what I'm saying? He met her at a bar, basically, whatever. She brings him back to her hotel. She sucks. She gives him head. You know what I'm saying? They have sex, and she loves it. She likes it a lot. You know what I mean? And she clearly told Taki that, okay, you served my purpose, lover boy. And she was about to almost kill him to a certain amount of stick, but she didn't do so. She only got what she wanted, and what she wanted was sex. She wanted to know what it was like to have sex with a human, and she found out what it was like. But in the movie, she turns out that she learns that she has to kill Taki, and she wants to kill Taki, and also she wants to kill Maki too, as well, who wants to, I wouldn't say wants to, but basically they romantically come together and have sex and love each other and have their child. But she doesn't want that, see that happen. Same thing with the Shadow Leader. They're not like, the Shadow Leader in this movie shows up towards the middle of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Towards the end of the movie. He doesn't show up at the beginning of the movie. It's between those time periods, the middle and the ending of the movie. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? He's a demon from that world. He has his abilities and stuff and so forth, but all he wants to do is just kill Taki, and he wants to kill Minart to keep the treaty from going, so he can keep the world separated. And he wants to kill Maki and Taki mainly. That's who they mainly want to kill within this movie. They want to kill these two just to keep these two from being together. But like I said, here's my issues with the film. I'm just gonna really sum everything up. You know what I mean? They're not explaining a lot about the movie's characters. They're not really explaining a lot about. They're not going into depth details about the movie's characters. They're just telling you, okay, who they are right now. They're just telling you who they are right now. They're not telling the backstory of their character. There's not really much character development in this movie. I can say that right now to you guys. There's not much of that in the movie. You know what I mean? Only thing you know about Taki is he's just an electronic salesman by day, and by night he's a blackguard agent. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, it shows that he's doing what he's doing for the money. He doesn't have this sense of purpose of understanding who he is. Understanding what he's on Earth here to do, other than just serve and protect it. But soon he learns at the end of the movie what he's there to protect. You know what I mean? But like I said, the story is it's really so general. It's not really open. You know what I'm saying? It's really general. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not really open. It's really left open to interpret it the way you want to interpret it. And like I said, they're not explaining a lot about the characters like Monarch. You know that like I said, I was telling you before, he's just, an old man of 200 years of age, and he has spiritual powers, which he developed over a time period. I don't know. They're not explaining how he developed those powers. They're not explaining how they discovered the black world, or how the black world people discovered the human world, or how the human world people discovered the black world. They're not explaining that whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? That's my problems with this movie. Same thing with Maki. You know that she's a dedicated woman. She's a beautiful woman, and she's a black world demon world woman. But she's not. They're not really talking about her future. They're not talking about her past. They're not saying anything about her past, other than the fact that her lover was Jin and she used to live in a black world. You clearly look at her character and learn that it's like she almost feels ashamed for the people in the black world. You know what I mean? She leaves the black world and comes to the human world to work. You know what I mean? So it's like, what happened? I want to know what happened to Maki. Why did she decide to leave the black world? Like I said in the movie, they don't explain that at all. They don't tell you that. They don't tell why she really left the black world or nothing like that. And if they do, it's like really, it's really general. It's really, really general shit. Like, like I said, obviously they need to show more about how the organization that Maki and Taki is working for, how they actually brought these two together. You know what I'm saying? They just say, okay, you're going to be working. Like, they learned that Taki's brief on his mission, that he's going to be keeping staying with this man Monarch, the ancient 200-year-old man, spiritual man, and keep him alive to sign the treaty. That's all they know. That's all they really know about. That's how they really come together. But you know what I'm saying? Obviously, in my opinion, I think that the organization that Taki and Maki was working for was actually were meant to bring these two together just to keep the world in peace. In my opinion, that's what I think. But like I said, this movie, they can also explain a little bit more of the motives of the Black World Demon group, the Radicals. Like Mr. Shadow, he has a pretty interesting character. He was, he obviously, you guys know, he was evil and he just didn't want people to be together or whatever. He was pretty much prejudiced with humans. But like I said, what's in it for him? What's in it for the fact of keeping his people from being with human? What does he gain out of it? You know what I mean? I feel like his character, he doesn't gain much from his character, other than the fact of taking pride in his own species. That's it. Like I said, they could do a whole much more to it. They can have more character development within this movie, with these characters, Taki, Monarch, and Maki, and Mr. Shadow, even the Spider Woman too. At that, who basically has that curiosity of sleeping with a human man. They could have focused more on her, that character, and developing that. Like, okay, how did she develop that curiosity? You know what I'm saying? Who she heard it from? They could have did scenes where she was basically dreaming about having sex with a human and shit like that. That's what I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see shit like that. That's that type of development you see within characters. So this movie it lacks a lot on the development of characters in this movie. Why? Because they focus a lot on sex in this movie, believe it or not. This movie has a lot to do with sex, fetish, a lot of fetishes in Japan, tentacles. You see Maki in this movie gets raped several times. She get raped by a whole bunch of demons. She get gang raped at the end. She gets raped by a parasite, and she kills it. Monarch have sex with another demon, a Black World Demon woman at the massage parlor. She ends up absorbing him. You know what I'm saying? Taki have sex with those movies. It focuses a lot on sex. Believe it or not, guys, it focuses on that. And for those of you who are out there who don't like sex, I feel sorry for you, but I mean, that's like, I just feel like this movie just focuses on that. It's like a hentai. It's like a hentai sexual thriller. You know what I'm saying? Sexual. It's a anime horror neo noir. Sexual thriller movie. You know what I'm saying? This movie, it's not full hentai. It's not true hentai to the movie, but they have it there. You clearly see the sex scenes. You clearly see hentai there. You just clearly see it, and it's like really crazy. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, my pros to the movie is it's like it has potential. It has a lot of potential. I clearly see a lot of the inspirations where I can see where they get it from, and where things come from, like Men in Black. I see a lot of Men in Black references in it with the Blackguard agents, basically, just like the MLB agents, the Men in Black. The same thing with Yu Yu Hakusho references with they had two worlds, the human world and the demon world, basically. So I see those references in it. To me, I like that type of story development, and I'll be honest with you, I want them to look more into this whole movie. I wish they could have did. It has a lot more potential to be something greater than what this is. They can at least tell more stories about Taki saving the world. You know what I'm saying? They could tell more than that. You know what I mean? So like I said, this movie has some potential. Far as pros, like the cons of the movie is like they just don't go into detail and about what I like about the movie. They're not explaining. They need to introduce more about the Black world. They need to talk about the culture of the Black world, other than the fact that these demons like to have sex. That's all they did. But they basically, you know, that there were sexual creatures, really very, very horny sexual creatures. That's all they were. You know what I'm saying? How didn't you explain how about how they lived and you know what I'm saying, how they ate, what they ate, you know, shit like that. Their culture, explain that shit. They need to develop more motives for the Black World Radical group, that organization, instead of, okay, we just don't want this world to be together. We don't want our people to be a part of that people. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to have a hybrid human demon. We don't want that. They need to explain more than that. They could have developed some plot points within the demon black world, you know, such as what was their government about? You know what I'm saying? How did they how they run things? Like I said, explain more about their culture. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the cons I see with it. You know what I'm saying? Those are my opinions. Like other than that, the animations to it were good. The sounds of this shit was on point. You know what I'm saying? Sound effects were all on point, guys. I kid you not with that. Like it just sound cool to me. Uh, Music was okay. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, animations were on point. You clearly know that. You know what I'm saying? It's a classical, you know, animation style of you like the Ninja Scroll era. Pretty much, it has that. You see how the, you know, the artwork is. It has that, you know, Ninja Scroll references to it as far as art. You know what I'm saying? But it's good. It's really good shit. You know what I'm saying? I think you guys would like the animation to it. It's not bad animation at all. It's on point. You know what I mean? The sounds are on point. Sound effects are on point. Music are okay. You know what I'm saying? As far as design aspect of this movie, it's all about hentai and sex. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's mainly about, from what I'm seeing it. But anyway, guys, I catch you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and peace.